What you gotta say?
What's up with y'all boys, man, and ladies and gentlemen.
Don't segregate.
This is DJ Woo Beats here. I got my guy.
Juwan, no cool name.
No cool name. I like that. And this is the What You Gotta Say podcast. And today, we kind of piggybacking off of the last episode, and we got another special guest, Kimberly Moore, in the building. Let's give it up for Kimberly Moore.
Yes.
How you doing?
How you doing, Miss
Good,
Kimberly?
thank you.
It's good.
So, as you may have noticed, or you probably heard that we've been talking to people in, I guess, what used to be your chain of command, or in your field, talking with Dr. Pam, and then we spoke with Christina last week, and now you're one of the wellness advocates that I've been excited to get on the podcast just to hear your story, what got you into the recovery field, and just, your overall, I guess, pulse on what's going on in recovery.
Okay. I'd be delighted to talk about those things with you, gentlemen.
So I'm gonna keep this. We're gonna try to keep it, smooth, because she told us earlier that this was her first podcast. So we ain't gonna try to beat her up too much. She already said it took us once, so we're gonna make it smooth for her. But I guess if we want to jump off into the questions, I guess what led you into recovery first?
Well, what led me into recovery was, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and being from Detroit, Michigan, how I got way of Saginaw.
Shout out to Detroit.
Is at 55 years old, my addiction to substances almost killed me. My daughters had a life insurance policy on me, and my sisters had planned my funeral. I was living life on, the wild side. It was just a matter of time before the addiction would have killed me, because that's exactly what it does. It's out to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was an empty nester, kids grown, 9 grandchildren, and I wanted something different. I didn't want to die an addict. So I decided to give myself a chance and just surrender and see what recovery looked like. And this has been my journey since being in Saginaw. I came here living in sober living for 2 years and 7 months, and built a foundation of people that are like-minded like myself that want recovery. And I got busy and learning and hanging out with people that had many years clean. They were very attractive to me, and those who I gravitated to, the people that were, helping other people and being there and just showing up for me when I needed it, because when I first got here, I didn't love myself. And I had people along the way that loved me until I could love me again. And, being here, coming to Saginaw, when I was coming here, they say, that saying "sag nasty." The first time I ever heard it, and I'm like, "Well, I'm going to sag nasty," and and I can honestly say, Saginaw has saved my life. It's a great recovery community. I have a lot of good people that I fellowship with, that support what I do. It's important when you are in recovery to have a community of people that support what you do.
Yeah.
And I do have a lot of support, and my family's very proud of me. My daughters say I'm her hero. I left Detroit, honestly. I left everything that I love to keep everything I love, and I got that and so much more.
That's
All right?
deep.
That's good. That's good right there. So it's safe to say that Saginaw was like, it wasn't a choice for you. It just kind of like happened that way, right?
It wasn't a choice. I knew nothing about Saginaw.
Yeah.
It was where my higher power, God, who I call my higher power, is where he led me.
Yeah.
I surrendered. I actually, a year after getting here, I was baptized in a lake here, like I always dreamed of doing it. It's been so many spiritual experiences that I've had since I've gotten in recovery. And here with the Women of Colors on the platform of how I overcame, a year later from my baptism was the date that I did that podcast, and I did do one.
Oh,
I
okay.
just remembered I did that one.
Dang.
But a year later, on that exact date, August 30th, a year from my baptism and turning my life over, I did a podcast and I shared over the Women of Colors.
You walking by faith.
Venue. I am absolutely walking by faith. With faith, there's no fear. I don't fear things today. I understand that my children are God's children. We all sit down and say the same prayer. And I look around and I say, you know what? Thank you for blessing me to call them my children, because you know what? We are, at the end of the day, we all have to have our journey and our walk in life. So I just keep them in prayer.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what I do. My faith is real strong. I'm grateful for this journey, and I never want to forget where I came from, because I was so hopeless and didn't want to live.
Yeah. Let me offer. We gonna piggyback off of where you came from. So take it back to Detroit. When you was using or whatever, like what what was the purpose, or what drove you to that? Like, was it the environment? Was it, just what space was you in, I guess?
But let me tell you
For
this.
for people who
Okay, so in recovery, what I found out is you have to be honest with yourself first before you're honest, before anything else. And I had suffered with addiction years before, but I took a long break in raising my children and being a professional car salesperson. And I did a lot of good things over the years with my children. So I did raise them. I wasn't out there like that as they were teenagers and growing up. But I never was honest about my use. And I used the general philosophy, and I'm only speaking for me. I can only speak for myself, and I'm
Right,
not
of
speaking
course.
for other addicts out there. But I use the excuse that I used because of childhood trauma.
Okay.
And being abused at 4 years old in a real toxic household, being told I'd never amount to anything in life, and just growing up in such a negative environment, I gravitated to using that as an excuse. And that's exactly what it was for me. And until I could really get honest with myself and admit that I was a party girl. I like hanging out. I liked the effect. I liked what it did until my tolerance got higher and higher. Weekends went to 3 days a week, to 4 days a week, 5 days a week, every day a week, Saturday, up and down all day long, searching for, that feeling. But it wasn't because of any experience in my past that I used. I used because the party got stronger and stronger, and I was over.
You was loving the part.
I crossed that invisible line
Yeah.
of addiction, and once I was able to admit that to myself, I was able to work on me.
Dang.
And I was about to say, that probably where the journey began,
I was
right
able
there.
to work
when
on
you
me.
just took that look back, like, dang, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yep. And then this was after how many years when you decided to look back? Because some people be like, man, it's too late. They'll be like, I've been doing this half my life. That's all I know.
I started in the late 80s, and all
Okay.
the way up until 2001 was a real patch for me in my addiction. But when I relapsed, when COVID came, I was out on an 18-month binge. But that 18 months was worse than ever than the earlier days. That's like I picked up where I left off at.
Is that because you was carrying guilt because you knew you were over recovery for this many years and now you felt like
It was the shame
it was
that
a
took
shame.
me out.
Yep.
And the guilt, because I had this appearance in front of everybody. I was this sales lady. I
Yep.
didn't want anybody to know where I was. When I first got to Saginaw, I hid. I didn't let anybody know where I was other than my children. And I was shamed. I had to really work on being shamed and understanding that.
I'm trying to put myself in that place. Like, why would you be ashamed of you selling cars, you taking care of your business? Like,
Because she had
Because
relapsed.
I wore this mask.
Yeah, yep.
See, I sold cars in the day, but at night I did my dirt.
Okay.
And so she was
Right.
more shameful of what she had become versus what she was portraying.
Right,
essentially.
absolutely. It was like I was two different people.
Yep.
I had to work on me. I had to find out what was really going on inside of me, because it wasn't. There's so many different addictions out there. I have an addictive thinking disorder. So it's so many different addictions out there, whether it's sex, gambling, whether it's substances or whatever. The problem is not the actual physical
Right.
substance. It's my thinking and inside between my ears.
You're right. You're right.
And I had to really work on resentments, finding out the reasons why I held resentments against people, and finding out where I played a role in some of those resentments. For many years, I hated my children's father. I hated him. He was so bad to me. I had 3 children by him, and 4, and he beat the second one out of me. And he beat the second one out of me on July 3rd, 1991. My sobriety date is dedicated to my me losing my son, my second son, which is July 4th, 2022. I've had no mind-altering substances in my body, and I'm grateful for
amazing,
that. I don't wake up with the desire today.
See.
And that just is a gift. So I celebrate me every day.
Yeah.
I celebrate not having that obsession. I celebrate not being in the madness. I
Supposed
celebrate
to.
that I'm
Have to.
able to plant the seed to people and show them at 55, if I can do it, man, you got a chance.
Anybody can do it. Yeah.
You got a chance, because I'm telling you, I was under the dirt,
Oh, yeah.
right? With the shame and, the guilt. And it was just so many negative feelings inside where I wanted to close myself off to the world. I didn't want anybody to know who I was. And once I got into recovery and I got a sponsor, and she started working with me and started showing me things that I didn't see, I was self-absorbed. I was selfish. even though I thought I was this giving person, I really wasn't. It was about me. I was self-centered. Everything had to be my way. You know, I was the chick that go in the grocery store, if the line ain't moving fast enough, I'm gonna leave the whole damn basket right there. You know, I'm impatient.
Yeah,
you know, things had to be
high
how I
pace.
wanted to be. But
Yep.
today I have patience today.
Yep.
I actually waited on a train after I got off work the other night for 40 minutes.
Yo.
Dang.
Never ever
You wasn't going
would
crazy?
I have done that without me changing my behaviors and my thinking.
Yeah.
And, you know, and being able to forgive others was a real big part for me. You know, like I shared, I was abused at a very young age. I hold no resentments towards my abusers because I understand that hurt people hurt people.
Yep. Yeah.
And once
That's
you
the thing.
understand that,
Yeah.
you can grow.
And then you carrying all that. How you supposed to move forward?
Yeah.
You got all this baggage behind you.
It
So
helped
it's
me
like,
hostage, so I was
Yeah.
able to forgive my abusers and
Yep.
move on. And I was able to ask those that I hurt to forgive me.
Right. And now we here. Let's talk about a little bit of your role and what you do for you. Where you at? Did you say TriCrime?
I'm at
TriCat.
my
Tri-Cat.
Michigan Hospital.
Oh, my
Mount-
man. Yeah.
I'm at my Michigan Hospital as a wellness
Wellness
advocate.
advocate,
That's
yep.
where
So she does both.
me and Christina, we're there, and we help patients that come into the ER and be wherever in the hospital with substance use disorder to plant the seed and work on getting them to recover if that's something that they desire. You know, we can't make you or change your heart, but we can plant the seed and show you what it looks like. See, when I came to Saginaw, you know, I was around all these people, you know, that were clean that I didn't know being here by myself, but the ones that were attractive to me were the ones that were staying clean and helping other people.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, wow, I want to be like that. One of my best friends here, her name is Tequila, and she's a younger girl. She could be my daughter, but I wanted what she had. She was very attractive to me in her
Yeah.
recovery. And I love that
She's real
about
passionate
her.
too.
Very passionate
and
about
you saw
what
that
she
passion,
does.
and then she has that same passion when she teaches. What I watch her teach bobbing.
Yeah.
It's not even teaching for her. It's just.
So, you know, it's like ever since I was a little girl, I always said I wanted to help women. I wanted to help women because I was abused at a very young age. But I thought that my direction would be to help women with domestic violence, abuse, and things of that nature. But God seemed different. He said, you're going to help people with, that you're going to help people, but you're going to help people in recovery. You know, so I look at my pathway with recovery as being the pathway I was supposed to take because
Yes.
this is where the passion for me exists. And, you know, every
This
day,
is-
you know, I work at TriCap as well. I'm a full-time recovery coach there, Monday through Friday. And
Where?
At TriCap.
Okay,
Yep.
yep.
And
How many people you work with?
I have 35 clients on my docket, but I sit in the ladies' dorm, so I work with the whole general
okay.
public. So I have ladies and men, and I do 6 classes there a week. I never had boundaries with men in relationships. You know, I've always had toxic relationships because I was broken. So until you can get yourself together, you're gonna always pick broken people. You know, that familiar type
Yeah.
thing. And my first class on Monday mornings is relationships and boundaries with men. And it's my favorite class, and it's class that I was given because I never had that. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of research and and getting down to the real nitty gritty with the guys, and I just love that class, and it's really a good class, you know. And I'm learning a lot along the way. Like I say, I'm a sales lady. I knew nothing about this, but I know that this is the pathway that I was supposed to take because it's right. It feels right.
Yep.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
And you don't feel like it's a struggle waking up every day. And it's funny because when you double back to when you said you replaced your, I guess your passion or your drive from addiction to something else, you actually just filled the gap with now you're helping others.
Yeah.
So you wake up with a passion to help others rather than trying to help yourself.
Yes.
And I think that is a way to feel more fulfilled than anything in life is to be able to give back. Because honestly, that's our number one purpose in life is to give back.
That's right.
Because we're here to plant a seed and then watch it grow and then, you know, help it prosper, whether that be children or family or friends, something like that. But you've been doing that for, you know, the last few years, and it's been amazing. One thing I want to ask you is, I guess being a wellness advocate, what has been your worst day and your best day?
You know, I'm a cut the tape right now because I don't have bad days.
Ooh.
I have bad moments.
Bad moments, okay.
And see, I practice and learn to use gratitude to get me into a different light. Anytime I'm struggling, I go straight to gratitude. I think about those bad
See,
days.
I'm the same
I
way.
think about being in my apartment by myself, using and isolating from my family, not answering the phone.
Yep.
I think about those moments, and they make me more grateful for the moment that I'm in at that
Today,
moment.
yep.
So I don't have bad time. I don't have bad days.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, I stay motivated and I stay in gratitude mode. Gratitude saved my life.
Yep.
It truly did. I practice it each and every day. I practice it in the morning when I wake up. I practice it in the middle of the day, and I practice it before I close my eyes at night. And I wouldn't say worst day. My first day. Let's not say worst. Let's say first day. First day at the hospital. I'm going to get my ID badge, and it's a retired police officer there. That's a security there now, and we were talking about me working with the patients in the ER with substance use, and he made this statement such as, well, they'll never, they can stop if they want to. They'll never, be any good. And he said something that was really derogatory and hurt my feelings. And, I said, you know what, sir? You don't know anything about what you speaking. I said, because while you talking about them, you don't even know who you speaking to. I'm one of them. You talking to me, and I've changed.
I bet
So
he
don't
was
tell
like,
me they
"Dang."
can't change, And he just sat there with this smug look on his face, and there was nothing he can say. Because I go to work every day to show out. It's not about... It's about being real with people and letting people know that I don't judge you for where you come from. I can't judge people. That's the problem with this society. We judging each other, this
Quick,
person, this,
too.
that. I don't judge people for where they come from because we all have a journey. We all have a moment. But in that journey of life, if you lucky enough that you're pushed to your purpose, then it's the best life ever. I'm living my best life today. Mm-hmm. I'm in my season. I'm really, really in my season, and I'm just grateful.
I feel it too. I feel the aura. I feel it. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but I bet your kids love you right now.
They do.
Yeah.
They love you.
They do.
And I bet you they probably don't even hold nothing that you've done in the past against you now because you've already.
My kids have never disrespected me, never called me out my name. I've had a great relationship with them.
Yeah.
I have a daughter that's a wellness advocate as well. She was in this for years, and I have a daughter that's in the medical field. So we're givers.
See.
We're not takers, we givers. We try to help people along the way. And and my best day, year before last, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, we were off at the hospital if we wanted to be off, and I had an opportunity if I wanted to be off. So the New Year's Day, I said, you know what, let me run up here right quick and see if it's anybody from the night over that might need my help. I got there, and it was this one patient was there that needed me, and I was able to get her to recovery, and she's been in recovery for over a year. And that's probably my best success story that I can say, and I've stayed in communication with her and making sure that, I tell the people at TriCap, when I'm there, get people's number, be with like-minded people, get to know people that want recovery like you. Yep. And I, when they exit, I give them my number and I tell them, when I write the letter, I said, I'm your first brick for your new foundation. Yep. And if they text me, I lock their number in and then we can communicate. Mm-hmm. But, you got to make a call in recovery before you make the fall.
Okay. I got a question for you. Yes. So, you like TriCamp, like what makes that place different from say somewhere else that they could go? Like what makes TriCamp the choice for them?
Well, what make TriCamp is actually not the choice for them. It's pretty much a last solution.
It's the last solution.
Okay.
Yep.
It's the last solution.
For jail.
And prison. It's the last solution, but it's a solution that I tell them that it's the saving grace for them. Yep. Because it will humble you. You got to be told when you can eat, when you can smoke, when you can do this, when you can do that. And if that don't humble a person, it takes your freedom, So when it humbles you to the fact that you can sit back and work on yourself and see what you've lost, or not so much lost, because in addiction, you give stuff away. I didn't lose anything. I gave things away because of the choices.
Explain that a little bit.
I could say that you give it away because nothing matters but the obsession to use. It's not like you lost it. When you have something already and you're responsible for it and you're paying your bills and you're consistent with that, and once you cross that line of addiction, those things don't matter anyway, so you end up giving them away. You end up giving them away.
There we go.
So that's my thing with TriCap. I see a lot of women that are like me when I was in my early stages, and to see that and to be able to be someone that can inspire them that you don't have to wait as long as I waited, and show them what recovery looks like, because, my attitude is not just positive here, it's positive throughout the day, my whole day, because I have so many things to be grateful for. I really do. You know, I was telling my friend in Detroit today that I'm a light. You know, I don't know what wattage I am, but I'm a light today.
Yeah, she a 1,000-watt bulb all the time. There's no dimmer switch.
You know, just grateful for the journey, just grateful to plant the seed because, like I said, you can't change somebody's heart and mind. It took a lot. I had to want this. Nobody could tell me as many times as my sister said, Kim, get some help. You need, you know. I said, I got this. And you ain't got to tell me, you know, that mine, you know. I'm in control. I got this, but I really wasn't. Yeah. You know,
that was God's plan for real.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
And I'm grateful for where I sit today, you know, and I'm continuing to grow, you know. And
practicing greatness.
Continuing to stay grateful. Yeah. And humble.
Was it you that some parent sent a letter to about their daughter?
Yeah.
That was, you want to kind of give us a breakdown? Yeah, it was powerful.
Well, what happened was I met a patient at the hospital, and she was there with her dad, and I went in the room and I talked to her and everything, and got her into recovery. And it so happened that her dad was in the area, and he knew that I worked through Women of Colors, and he came in and he wanted to tell my boss, Miss Evelyn, about this woman that talked to his daughter at the hospital, and that out of all the people in her family that had talked to her, his wife, her mom, you know, family members, that I was the one that got through to her, you know. And it was so happened that when he came in that day, I happened to be in the office here, and I was able to see him again. And he said, that's her, you know. And it was just such a great feeling. But, you know, and I tell people this, you know, don't put me on a pedestal. It's God.
Yeah.
You got to give him his grace, because, you know, the first thing we holler when we in trouble and when we going through things is, God help me. You know, but when the bad things, you know, smoothing out, still give him the grace in the goodness, you know, because he just used me as an instrument, as a tool. I'm nothing special. You know, I just, you know, live the life of those who I try to help not go down the same pathway as I did.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, that's crazy. The fact that he seeked her out, drove all the way here to the facility just to, you know, because anybody could have just picked up a phone and just call, like, hey, you know, such and such was at the hospital. But you were that big of an impact on his daughter that he was like, I'm going to drive there. I got to see what's going on.
And we're still in contact to this day.
See?
I talk to her.
Good.
You know, so I try to, you know, if they stick around, I'm going to stick around with them, you know. But,
that
you know,
brick.
Once you fall off, I can't deal with that, because I have boundaries today. You know, I have boundaries, and my boundaries is I have to protect myself at all costs. That's with family and anyone, you know.
When you look at your lived experiences, what took you from feeling, I guess, being seen versus being judged? Because a lot of people will see you, but at the same time, they'll also judge you. But how did you, I guess, navigate from, you know?
Well, for one, I was an isolated user, so nobody really knew. I hid it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I hid it other than my close, like my family that's around me on a daily basis, and they can know when I change up. But on the outside, you couldn't see it. People, to this day, when people found out and I finally let people know that I was in recovery, it took me about 9 months to a year being here in Saginaw to post that I'm in recovery, and, you know, to share my story with people that had bought cars from me for many years, that, you know, families I've seen kids raised and stuff. I actually got a lot of feedback. People were sending me money for support.
What? I was about to say, it probably wasn't so much of judging you. They probably was just trying to help you.
They said, Kim, you what?
Yeah, they probably
they never saw it, but they start sending me money and supporting me and telling me good job. And to this day, it's the same, you know, scenario as I go on. They're Facebook friends. They never stop being my friend. They even call me this day, you know, to this day for referrals for vehicles. You know, I still do deals all the way in Saginaw, baby.
See, I'm trying to get this car now.
You know, I still, you know, try to send people to people that I know that's still in the business when they looking, you know. So I still, you know, I thought I was my worst enemy. You know, I thought that I was just such a bad person. But really, you know, I'm not that person who I was then, you know.
No.
I'm not that person. And I realized that, and I forgave who she was, and I celebrate who I am.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's so crazy because when you said that Saginaw saved your life, I've never heard anyone say that. Pretty much everybody always stigmatizes Saginaw. That's why they call it Sagnassi, as, you know, the place where you can't prosper. But you took it, and I always say, like, your environment is what you make of it. And, you know, I guess any past experience is a great experience as long as you learn from it. If not, it was a waste.
Yeah.
And you took everything that from the past and just built upon it. And now you're using that as a foundation for others. And it's like, you know, I feel like you being a wellness advocate, there's no better place for you to be because, like you said, people are in this position. You've been in that position, and now you can see what comes out on the other side.
Yeah.
Which way they decide to go. And so I think people coming from a credible source versus like someone with a degree and a doctorate and all that stuff that, you know, you just carry more weight to me, in my opinion. Like,
well, I appreciate that.
no
but,
experience is better than lived experience.
I tell you, Saginaw did save my life. I mean, you know, it was the best decision ever. And it was a decision that wasn't my decision. It was where I was leaded. I was guided here, you know. I was in rehab, and I heard a young lady speaking of this place in Saginaw, the Mayor's House, a sober living facility. And I asked about it, and she kind of told me a little bit about it, and I, you know, read a pamphlet on it, and I started manifesting that's where I wanted to be from what I read. And the next day I went into the library at the treatment center, and I'm looking in the books, and I happened to see this piece of paper between these two books, and I opened the books up and pulled the paper out. And it was a flyer for the Mayor's House.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that was my spiritual awakening. And I said, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And my
That's
life has turned around,
Yeah.
you know. And I tell people today, and I got this from a very, very good friend in the Recovery Network. It was something that he said when I came early in recovery, and it always stuck with me. He said that if you write down what you want in recovery on a piece of paper, you'd be cheating yourself of what you're going to get. So, you know.
Ooh.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, because you
be
limit
cheating
yourself. Yep.
You cheating yourself. For what you asking for ain't nothing for what God got for you. Right?
Yep.
So,
Dang, that's powerful.
yeah, it's powerful.
Dang, I've always been a big believer on writing things down, but I'm always find myself adding to it.
Yeah.
Like later on, I'm like, dang, that's checked off. Now
You be
what's
cheating
next?
yourself. You
Yep.
really would. And, you know, I tell people in class when I carry the message that he gave me because it stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I'm living proof that had I wrote anything down, none of those things on that paper would have been at the time that I came in the door to where I'm at today. Because so many things in my life have changed, and they're all focused on helping others.
Where you see yourself in 5 years? Where you see yourself?
You know, for me, it's really hard because I walk in faith so long that I rely on meditating and listening and sitting back and listening. And I move when it feel right.
Yeah.
Where there's no
You move
questions.
with your heart,
you know?
yeah.
But in 5 years from now, but see, that's me writing it down.
Yeah. But like
Right?
just like some where you would want to be, you know?
If you was alive and thriving in 5 years,
Alive.
I could be a
Alive and thriving.
motivational speaker. I would be a motivational speaker
I
and
think
talk
she
to
could
crowds
definitely
of
do
people.
it. Or you could definitely
You
do
know,
it.
have my own form and go out and let people know, you know, what recovery is about, you know, because I'm not stage fright, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, I don't,
And that's a gift
you know,
nowadays.
I just, you know, I believe in just passing the message.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever it's worth.
It's something about you. It's something about you. I be around a lot of people. It's something about you though.
Okay.
You got that.
And
I always had
and-
that spark. Remember when I said from the beginning, I was like, I can't wait to get her on here. I've been gassing you up for like 3 weeks.
It's something there. And I that might be what it is. You just feel familiar. You probably don't even look familiar no more to me now. You just
I think
feel
her aura
familiar.
gives you her aura has always gave me the sense of calm, even though she's so like she be moving, but I always feel calm around her because she just has that presence, that aura, and it's just and I think that's what you give off to other people. You know, Women of Color is technically or currently hiring wellness advocates.
Yes.
What's something that you would tell future wellness advocates coming into this field?
Something I would tell future wellness advocates coming in this field is to believe in yourself, trust your path, trust and know that you're here for a reason. Have empathy.
That's a big one.
Have empathy for people. You know, judging is not for humans. We shouldn't be judging each other. You know, and that's not to say that I don't find myself sometimes judging in other areas of my life, you know, things what my daughter should be doing or my son should be doing. You know, I have to put everything in prayer. But the biggest thing for a wellness advocate is just bring a place of peace and a place of honesty.
Yeah.
And just be honest with the people. You know, a lot of people, some people want to talk to me, but they know if they come and talk to me, I'm going to tell them the real deal. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
That's good.
I'm going to say it just what it is, you know. I think that me being honest and not sugarcoating your bull can save your life. You know, I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what it really
What you
is,
need to hear.
what you need to hear,
Ain't nothing wrong with
and that's
that.
where it comes from.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I was blessed to have that too.
What's that?
Growing up, I just, it was always, they was telling me what I needed to hear.
That's right. You know, yeah. You know, the person's gonna run to the person that's gonna comfort them and co-sign for them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got to go against somebody that's gonna be real with you and tell you, look, you got to look at what it's gonna look like on the other side if you make that decision. You know, I tell the ladies at TriCap all the time, if you walk out that door, what are you facing? So, what are you facing? Is it really worth it? You can't do 30 days in here, but you do 2 years over there in the county.
Yep.
Is that crazy or what? Make it make sense.
Yeah, because so many people for TriCap walk off because
Yeah.
the doors are unlocked. You can just leave.
Yeah, you can leave.
But when you do, there's going to be more repercussions.
You know, and then I get those times where I do have a person that want to walk on, they come in my office and say, Kim, I'm leaving, I'm packing up. And I said, sit down. And you know, and I talk to them and they stay. And
Dang.
I get in my car
You
that
changed
night and
their
I
whole
say, God,
life
thank
right
you.
there. That
I say,
literally
"Thank
changed
you,
their whole
God."
life.
You know, and I was praying the other night and I said, Lord, you know, I just thank you so much for allowing me to be able to plant the seed in people and help these people. You know, I don't care if it's just one person. I know this is what you want me to do. I said, now just let me bring people closer to who you are and all that you do. And the next day I went in and I got a girl that didn't even believe in him. So he gave me an assignment right after the prayer. So I said, you know what? In my mind, you know, we were talking, me and her, and I said, oh, yeah, but you get out of here in 150 days, baby, you're going to know who he is.
Yep.
Working with me.
100%.
You know, so
So how that's going?
it's going good.
Okay, that's
It's going
good.
good. I'm telling you,
That's good.
I see change. You know, I got them practicing gratitude 3 times a day.
That's good.
You know, so
Oh, man, that's good because so many people don't do that.
Yeah.
so
Man. Well, I know you pressed for time, and we're gonna try to wrap this up. But this is. I could go a whole lot longer.
I appreciate you.
I'm just glad you was able to give us a little bit of your time and drop all these mental gems because, man, there's gonna be a lot to digest. I'm gonna probably listen to this a couple times.
Well, I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you coming on. Man, y'all, this was a powerful one. If you got any questions, you can always email ewmtoday@aol.com or reach out to Women of Colors. If you know somebody that is struggling with addiction, hey, we have wellness advocates. As you see, they're very passionate about what they do. They come from experience, and man,
Even if I didn't mean to cut you
you're
off, but
good.
even if y'all feel like y'all want to contact me or Jawan first, you know what I'm saying?
out.
Y'all can hit us up first, and
Yep.
if y'all feel more comfortable, and then we put y'all in the room where y'all need to be or whatever the case may be.
yeah, because man, just speaking to you, I always thought like being a doctor or a surgeon or something like that, they're only people or police officers that save lives. But man, we got wellness advocates that are literally out here saving lives and doing the Lord's work. So hey, man, this is strong. But hey, we'll catch y'all in the next What You Gotta Say podcast. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
What you gotta say?